The anger out there in these red states is so deep and palpable that GOP legislators may have a difficult time seating Biden electors. Fox News is laying the groundwork for Republicans to invalidate the election results and install Trump in office for another 4 years. True. Let's listen to this clip.
United States, and I'm told that the anger out there in these red states is so deep and so palpable that GOP legislators may have a difficult time seating Biden electors when it comes down to putting in place that process for the vote on December the 14th.
That would be something. John, come back to Georgia in a moment here.
United States, and I'm told that the anger out there in these red states is so deep and so palpable that GOP legislators may have a difficult time seating Biden electors when it comes down to putting in place that process for the vote on December the 14th.
That would be something. John, come back to Georgia in a
That sure would be something. All right. Let's see. Okay. So I guess we need to talk about this. So here's part of the issue, right, guys? Like, this is something that is a genuine threat to our democracy. Now, I've been kind of like watching this unfold over the last several days, and I'm officially in being alarmed territory. I am really and truly alarmed, and this is a genuine issue, and I'm not entirely sure how we solve it, and that might be one of the most worrying things for me. I know a lot of people right now at this point in the cycle towards the transfer of power are kind of in this headspace of like, well, none of this matters because Biden is going to become president, so this is all just political theater. I was largely in that camp too. Mighty Squatch, it's okay. Thank you for sharing your story. I appreciate it very much, okay? And let's take a look here at... Now we're at this stage, and this happened yesterday in the evening, and I just have to point out that this should be alarming to everybody. The Trump administration removes senior defense officials, installs loyalists, triggering alarm at the Pentagon. Yesterday we had a story about Mark Esper being removed, and installing an even bigger yes-man in his place. And now, this is Trump removing more defense officials. Now, the one thing that Mark Esper was known for standing up to Trump about was Trump using the military on the civilian population. So I am wondering what purpose removing all of these officials serves. This seems... Yeah, Mark Esper was already a cuck. But, like... if he was already a cuck, then why... what must he have had to stand up to in order to be fired? This is my issue. This is my issue. This is why we should be worried, because what this implies to me is that there is something coming down the pipeline towards the Pentagon that is being seen as so odious that even someone within the military has a reputation for being a yes man, is willing to lose his career over it. So there's something bad coming, and on top of that, Trump has removed senior defense officials. Now, again, this could all be theater. It could all be nothing. It could be as Paul Basag says, Trump is being crazy. and they won't kneel to him. This is true. It could just be that. However, it is worrying to me because I believe that all these are the people who largely said that if Donald Trump were to attempt to hold office, they would move the military against him to help remove him. So this is why it's kind of worrying me. Could it be something foreign? I don't think so. I don't think this is foreign interference. I think this is the desperate act of a fascist trying to hold power. So my question is, I guess, are our institutions strong enough to prevent something like this from happening? I genuinely don't know. So when I say we should be worried about this, I do genuinely mean we should be worried about all of the things we're reading in these headlines and in the wider stories as well. Yeah. Roughly 24 hours after President Donald Trump fired Defense Secretary Mark Esper, put officials inside the Pentagon on edge, fueling a growing sense of alarm among military and civilian officials who are concerned about what could come next. Guys, I need to emphasize this. This is the military and civilian officials within the Pentagon who are alarmed. This is a fundamental issue here that is chilling and should be extremely worrying. So, I know I keep saying that, but like, these people don't get alarmed about a whole lot. They're in the fucking military. Their jobs are coordinating, like, bombing people in foreign countries. Like, if they're worried about something like this, what could it be? And, like, for what purpose, right? Four senior civilian officials have been fired or have resigned since Monday, including Esper, his chief of staff, and the top officials overseeing policy and intelligence. They were replaced by perceived Trump loyalists, including a controversial figure who promoted fringe conspiracy theories and called the former president Barack Obama a terrorist. That's good. Senior defense official told CNN late Tuesday that it appears we are done with the beheadings for now, referring to the wave of ousted civilian leaders, including Esper. But the moves will likely only add to the sense of chaos within the Pentagon following Trump's firing of Esper. The president jettisoned him just 2 days after his Democratic opponent, Joe Biden, was projected as the winner of the presidential election, a conclusion that Trump had was refusing to accept. Concerns are growing around that chaotic transition period could undermine national security. Yeah, these are all bad things. Reading between the lines, it's bad. Let's see. Knowledgeable sources told CNN's Jake Tapper Tuesday that the White House now seems focused on going after Esper's undersecretaries at the Defense Department in wake of his firing on Monday. Esper was replaced by Christopher Miller, the national director of National Counterterrorism Center. The effort may be because Esper and his team were pushing back on a premature withdrawal from Afghanistan that would have been carried out before the required conditions on the ground were met and other pending security issues. This is scary. It's very unsettling, one defense official told CNN. These are dictator moves. Again, people in the Pentagon don't typically describe the sitting president of the United States as doing dictator moves. People in the Pentagon are not generally left-leaning individuals. They're not prone to hyperbole to the press. Among those who assumed new roles at the Department of Defense were controversial retired Brigadier General Anthony Tata, who moved into the Pentagon's top policy role, taking over duties of James Anderson, who resigned Tuesday, according to another U.S. defense official. Tata had been nominated for Undersecretary of Defense for Policy this summer, but his nomination was withdrawn because of bipartisan opposition. Guys, it's under the Trump administration. Do you know what you have to get? What you have to do to get, like, bipartisan opposition of your position, you know? Reported he has made numerous Islamophobic and offensive comments and promoted various conspiracy theories. In several 2018 tweets, he claimed Obama was a terrorist leader who did more harm to the U.S. and help Islamic countries than any president in history. Cool. Yeah, these are super normal things. Super normal things. Let's see. Multiple civilian and military officials working inside the Pentagon are raising the question of whether the departure of Esper and other officials will now clear the way for Trump in his final weeks in office to potentially again call for initiatives he wants to pursue that the Pentagon opposes. One would be raising the specter of using active duty forces under the Insurrection Act against any future protests. Another possibility raised by officials is he would override the military advice he's been given and bring troops home from Afghanistan by Christmas. U.S. military officials have long been stressed that the U.S. withdrawal from Afghanistan is conditions-based, and that those conditions include the Taliban breaking its ties to al-Qaeda and making progress in peace talks with the Afghan government, two conditions that have yet to be met. Yeah, this is, not good. Trump and Biden ain't baiting Goku, though. Well, not many people are beating Goku, my dude. Can we go back to batshit conspiracies? I mean, eventually. We're talking about politics, so eventually the conservative right is going to take us there themselves. Everything politicians do worries me. Seems like it's a choose the lesser evil half the time, and it gets so confusing who to follow, who not to. Reminds me of a playground merry-go-round where you spin so fast you get off and wobble all over the place. Trying to find firm footing can be hard after that. Mighty Sasquatch, I agree with you completely, but this is why, entirely you should not be placing your faith in any one individual politician. Even the best of politicians are still politicians, and they will do what is necessary to be politically expedient most of the time. However, I do have to say that what you should be paying attention to is policy and the people who support those policy positions. Okay, we've got another submission here. Pastor Robert Jeffres, staunch Trump evangelical supporter, calls Biden president-elect. Dang. Okay, here's our chance to show that Christians are not hypocrites. We serve a God who remains on his throne, sovereignly reigning over every square inch of this vast universe, he wrote. We serve a God who loves us and will never leave or forsake us, and now we have the chance to show the consistency and constancy of our Christian witness to this world. When Joe Biden becomes president, we should commend him for the things he does right, Jeffers wrote. We should condemn the things he does wrong, and above all, we must pray fervently for our president. If Biden succeeds, we all succeed. May God bless Joe Biden. May God bless the United States of America. Well, that is certainly a departure that I was not expecting. Pastor, the story continues. All right. Pastor, you and Amy, Jeffrey's wife, have stood with us from the very beginning, and I will always stand with you, Trump said in 2017. I told you that, and I meant that. I will always be with you. I appreciate it. Thank you. The president on Good Friday called Jeffries a terrific guy, a terrific man, after saying that he would tune in to his Easter service virtually. Interesting. Well, I mean, at the very least, there are some Republicans willing to call this election, and it was in a Fox News column. At that, interesting. Okay. It's not official, not a big deal to not call it yet. I mean, yeah, no, it has been called. Yeah, like you understand that, like, yeah, the election has been called by all official sources. It's been called. The only thing that they're doing now is filing frivolous lawsuits over like 180 votes in Arizona, and like then blowing up that story to make it seem like there is some widespread 140,000 vote difference in Arizona that's going to overturn the state, and that's not the case at all. It's like an inconsequential number of ballots. Oh, well, yeah, the Electoral College hasn't met yet, but like, yeah, usually that, like, you understand this is unprecedented, right? Like, usually they call the race within like the first, like, at the very least the first several days of the election. Yeah, I hope we don't have unfaithful electors. That would cause everyone to go apeshit, absolutely apeshit. But anyway, I guess Georgia's going to do a hand recount of the state's presidential election results. Not good and based, I guess. But we'll see what it is. What it is, what it is. Um, Trump can win. No, Trump can't win. Tr- yeah, they're gonna recount it. It's not gonna change shit. This is like saying, by the way, in like 2012, oh yeah, we need Mitt Romney to recount the ballots. He'll totally win, guys. No, it's no. That's not how this is gonna work. Yeah, I mean, boss, you want to bet? I'll bet you money. I'll bet you real money. Just let Romney's company count all the ballots. Yeah, true. Oh gosh.
Look, bottom line. Bottom line, if ifs and buts were candy and nuts, the president would be on deck to have a better Thanksgiving than he's going to have. Math doesn't care about his feelings, doesn't care about anyone's feelings. The math in Pennsylvania is damning for the president. Like, these contested late ballots, 10,000, like, oh no, we're going to take that to the Supreme Court. Like, take it to the Supreme Court. You know what? Spot the president all 10,000 for all I care, because the vice president is going to be up 50, 60,000 votes when all the counting is done, if not more. The bottom line is that there is no truth to any of this. And at some point, we all have to collectively accept that yelling voter fraud when there is no evidence whatsoever of it is yelling fire in a crowded theater, and it is harming the democratic franchise of our country and the peaceful transition to power. And we cannot accept that. Look, bottom line.
This extremely tall and based gentleman is the lieutenant governor of Pennsylvania. And again, he brings up the same point that I brought up about Arizona, and it's that a recount isn't going to affect the numbers by more than a couple hundred, and B, yeah, even if the contested ballots in Pennsylvania go all the way to the Supreme Court and are counted entirely for Trump or get thrown out, even that isn't going to change the outcome of the Pennsylvania election. So, like, the arguments here that the whatever amount of like falsely turned in ballots, yeah, like, like, you guys realize that he would need to flip so many other states in order to win that it would be absolutely insane. There's not actually a chance of him winning. And like, the other thing is, even if there has been fraud, the statistics of fraudulent voting in the United States are about 0.03% of the votes. So, like, it, in the grand scheme of hundreds of millions of ballots, we're not talking about that many votes. We're just not. Now, by the way, I totally sympathize with the desire to be like, well, we do want to know that there was no fraud, right? Except that we have systems in place to prevent voter fraud. This is why a lot of people who attempt to commit voter fraud get caught doing voter fraud, because we have redundant systems whereby we check to make sure that voter fraud isn't happening. Oh, we got a link to an Instagram. What is this? I don't even know what this is. Here we go. I'm gonna minimize this first and put it here, I guess. Yes.
Or losers. They refuse to acknowledge they lost the election, so what do? They cry malfeasance, wrongdoing, criminality, fraud.
Democrats, more so than Republicans, seem to have a problem conceding defeat. Either the election system broke down or some mystery votes are hiding somewhere.
You have a whole series of Democrats who...
Yeah, Zico. President Trump in 2018 assigned Mike Pence and assigned Chris Kobach, who for like the last decade has been talking about voter fraud being this big issue. Mike Pence and Chris Kobach combined on top of a committee couldn't find any evidence of voter fraud aside from like a couple thousand ballots over the last 2 decades. So like, it's not a significant problem. It's really not. In fact, the results of this committee was so absolutely spectacularly a level of nothing that they just quietly shut down the committee, and the documents of that investigation had to be requested under a Freedom of Information Act. And when they did request it, that information came out, and it was extremely embarrassing. Now here's the thing. I'm in favor of letting them do this. I'm in favor of letting them investigate. The issue that I have a problem with is the massive acceptance by the Republican Party that this fraud actually happened, despite no evidence of it actually having happened. And that's a problem because the president comes out on television every day telling the people who support him that there's fraud, that there's fraud, that there's fraud, to the point where even if a Republican investigation comes out and says, hey, there wasn't actually any fraud, Joe Biden's the president, the people who believe the president aren't going to actually, like, believe that there was no fraud. So this is the issue. They're poisoning the well of our discourse, where I can't even come on here and be like, yeah, we have a long history of not having voter fraud in our elections. A fact. And then a lot of people will come out, a lot of conservatives will flip out and say, no, Trump's going to win, Trump's going to win, Trump's going to win. There was somehow millions of voters were able to vote illegally, and this is, like, they'll never be convinced. And this is the problem when we're allowing this kind of discourse and this narrative to spread unchallenged. So I'm trying to offer some kind of pushback against that. Dems spent 4 years on Russia, but can't have 2 weeks to investigate. My dude, people acted like the Kavanaugh hearing was the greatest crime against humanity ever, and they only gave like 2 or 3 days to investigate a possible rape. Or how about we talk about Benghazi, We spent 14 or so investigations on Benghazi. Tens of millions of dollars were spent investigating Benghazi, and it didn't find jack shit. Like, when you talk about, like, the Russia investigation, there was actually Russian interference in our election. They actually did find that. They actually did. They did. The conclusions of the committee assigned to investigate this showed that Russia did, in fact, interfere with our elections, and that it was actually a hugely negative thing. However, it also found that maybe it's possible that that interference didn't tip the cause of the election, and that there would need to be more investigations into it. Now, this is all, like, a bunch of, like, water under the bridge. We're not going to go back to investigating Russia. We're not going to go back to investigating Benghazi. I just don't think past mistakes or past investigations justify bullshit investigations now. How we talk about the claims of locker room talk. I hear people tell me that he is sick for talking about it, but when Biden gropes and sniffs, it's just old people things. It's okay. Well, no. Cult man, here's what I'd say. Sniffing girls is, like, a weird, creepy thing to do. But I would also say that, like, while that's a weird, creepy thing to do, it's also not really illegal. It's not really illegal to inhale someone's scent. It is a creepy violation of their space. I 100% admit that. However, spying on naked girls and then bragging about it, or bragging about sexually assaulting women, sexually assaulting women is, like, illegal. Admitting to that, like, he admitted to it on camera. Like, the Trump admitted on camera to sexually assaulting people. Trump admitted on camera, or at least on audio recording, that he really loved that he was able, at his pageants for, like, Miss Teen USA or whatever, to go into the back room and watch these girls undress. They were, like, 16 years old. Trump was friends with Jeffrey fucking Epstein. He's seen on camera pointing at a group of underage girls and saying, "Wow, she's hot." Donald Trump was friends with Epstein and told the world that they bonded over a mutual love of young women. Yeah, looking at naked underage girls. Yes, looking at naked underage girls is illegal. Yes, you shouldn't be looking at underage children who are naked. I don't know how I need to clarify this anymore. This is the divide? Wait, Colt man, are you saying you think child pornography is okay? What the fuck is what? No, one is having creepy space issues. The other's looking at naked children. I don't know how you can defend this. One is having, like, a creepy space issue with other people that is not limited to children. He also does it with adults. And there are old people who do this. They're from a different generation. There's a world of difference between that and someone who brags about sexually assaulting women, someone who has court cases against him for having raped children, someone who is friends with Jeffrey Epstein, and then brags about looking at underage children. So, like, yeah, I'll go to bat for this. They're not equivalent at all. One is a creepy behavior. The other is something that is blatantly evil and also is generally illegal. It's generally illegal for you to walk into a room with naked children and ogle them. Yeah, it's bad when I stub my toe. It's worse when I cut off my arm. Like, that's the issue. I'm saying, yes, it is bad for Joe Biden to have these space issues and to be invading children's space like this. I'm saying it's far worse for someone to admit to being at least pedophile adjacent. So Yeah, that's my point. Is there any proof that Biden groped people? There is one rape allegation that may or may not be true. Um, I'm inclined to believe it, but I'm also inclined to believe a lot of the rape allegations against Donald Trump. So if I'm gonna have a rapist, I'll at least take the one with better policies. You know. It's not intellectually dishonest and hypocritical for me not to condemn both. I said one is bad. One is bad and the other is infinitely worse. You understand that, right? You understand that something can be bad and something can be worse than that other thing. This isn't a hard thing to understand. I just don't like the way that some people equivocate these two things as if they are both equally bad when that is definitely not the case. I'm willing to admit that there is a possibility that Joe Biden is a rapist. Yes. I'm also willing to admit that there's a far greater possibility of Donald Trump being a rapist because he has 27 allegations to Joe Biden's one. So yeah, I'm willing to admit there's a possibility they could both be rapists. The possibility is just heavily weighted that Donald Trump is far more likely to be a rapist. So I don't understand how we're acting like these two things are equivalent, though. Zico, but we're not talking about we having definite proof that you went out and killed one person and having definite proof that another person went out and killed 10. What we have is one story that says Joe Biden is a rapist that we have no way of confirming whether or not it's true. On the other hand, we have 27 stories of Donald Trump raping people, and we have no way of confirming whether or not many of those are true. However, he has lost a number of court cases regarding these altercations. His wife has, one of his ex-wives in court testified that he had raped her. We have video evidence of him bragging about sexually assaulting people. On top of that, we have him on audio talking about how he likes watching little girls undress. So yeah, no, they're you understand that I think it is far more likely, if we're going to compare the two, that Donald Trump is a sexual assaulter and a pedophile. I am not going to completely discount that possibility for Joe Biden. It's just far more likely for Trump. One has a 93% possibility of being a rapist and a pedophile. The other one has I don't know, 60%. So yeah, I'm going to say also that yes, it is bad when someone goes out and murders one person. It's also far worse when someone goes out and murders 10 people. I don't understand how you guys don't get this. Donald Trump has failed to defend himself in court about sexual assault allegations. So, yeah. Yeah. I'm honestly speechless. Gosh. Yeah, it comes down to a numbers game in a lot of cases. And maybe that makes me seem like an asshole, but it's more likely of one thing being true than the other thing being true. It's also possible that they're both guilty. And it's also possible they're both guilty of everything they've been accused of. I have no way of knowing. Joe Biden hasn't been taken to a court of law for these things. Donald Trump certainly has, and he hasn't won on all of the issues that he's been taken to court for regarding sexual assault. So, yeah, I mean, I don't understand the issue here. Oh, yeah, Ashley, I saw that COVID article. I'm gonna not cover that today. Today's a lot already. Cult man, are you honestly saying that someone on camera in front of their parents having like an old man put their arm on a kid's shoulder is equivalent to someone watching child pornography? Is that your argument? Because I think it's a very bad one, and you might want to think of a better one. You would not end up with speechless if you didn't validate bad faith arguments. I don't know how many of these are bad faith, though. That's the thing. I think a lot of these people are just conservative or have certain issues that they are that they are stuck on here. My dude, I think you're hard pressed to say that Joe Biden was groping someone on camera. Cult man, if you have evidence of Joe Biden groping someone on camera, you might want to send it to the FBI. They would be extremely interested in a video of the sitting president-elect groping a child. Yeah, absolutely, Zico. Both sides are completely fucked in the United States. Yeah, I would rather not see someone groping a child. But Cultman, if you do have this video evidence, you should probably send it to the FBI. The FBI takes child molestation extremely seriously. Sorry, Cultman, I don't make a habit of looking up child molestation videos. Um, yeah, I'm sure it was on an actual TV broadcast, which is why I find it highly unlikely that the president-elect was trying to grope a child in front of news cameras. I find that highly unlikely. Oh yeah, Planetoid. It's largely propaganda. We're fed propaganda throughout like all of our schooling to tell us that America is the best country on earth. You know. IPA, I need to clarify something. I didn't say raping one woman is better than 27, therefore not a reason to disqualify him in my mind. That's not what I'm fucking saying. Why are all of you not hearing the words that are coming out of my mouth? What the fuck is wrong with you? Like, all of you. Holy shit. Yeah, raping anyone should be enough. All I'm saying is that we have one allegation against Joe Biden that we have no way of actually verifying as outside observers. On the other hand, we have 27 allegations against a sitting president and a lot of circumstantial evidence that seems to point that he would be someone who would rape someone. So, like, this is... I'm not saying that Joe Biden 100% didn't rape someone, but we don't know. All I'm saying is it's more likely that Donald Trump raped someone because he has 27 similar allegations. So, this is all I'm saying. Holy shit, you guys. I don't understand how you're extrapolating from anything I've said that I'm going with believe all women, so in my mind he did. One is enough for me to pass. All right, I get that you're trying to trigger me right now. I'm sufficiently triggered. Thank you for making light of sexual assault, IPA. Yeah, sure you're not. Search Biden sniffs kids. There is a video. You can watch him watching. Cultman, you know an awful lot about how to find videos of Biden sniffing kids. It's weird. Well, apparently you think that I think it's okay to vote for a rapist, which is not what I fucking said. So I think maybe you need to chill your own leaps to conclusions here. My argument is that both of them might have done something bad. The likelihood of one is far greater than the other. I don't understand how you are getting from this anything else that I'm saying. It's absolutely the case that Trump would have lots of accusations leveled against him, true or not. Well, yeah. I mean, that does make sense to me as well. She couldn't make it any clearer. Yeah, I'm pretty sure Donald Trump was also taken to court by someone who was a former child who he raped, or allegedly raped, rather. Yeah, I don't know. Maybe if you guys have like Joe Biden on tape talking about how he likes to feel underage girls' titties, maybe I'll have more validity to this story. You saw it live. Again, Cult Man, go find... If you saw it live, there's recording of it somewhere. Go find that recording. Send it to the FBI. They're very interested in child molesters over there. I'm sure that they will investigate it. And if he's guilty, this would be literal... You understand, like, if Joe Biden was guilty of molesting a child on live camera, you understand that would be the biggest fucking story of the entire century, right? You understand that, right? Like... Yeah. So if you have evidence of this, please find it and present it to the FBI, because I don't want a child molester as president. I don't want a rapist as president. Well, you're Cult Man, you're not a nobody. You're somebody. You're somebody in this chat, and I appreciate that you've been in here and speaking your mind, okay? I am just sufficiently heated at the moment. This has been an extremely spicy stream with a lot of people coming in and saying a lot of really things that get my dander up, so to speak. Biden touched kids, and I have tape of it, but I can't give them to the FBI because reasons. Rape equals bad. The chance that one has 27 allegations versus... Yeah. Also, like, I hate that you guys make me, like, talk about Joe Biden. I don't like Joe Biden. I really don't. I'm a leftist. I don't like Joe Biden. I would much rather a leftist be president. Didn't Biden and Clinton both say they were against same-sex marriage at one point? Absolutely, yes. I mean that in all seriousness, not making light of sexual assault. One accusation is sufficient. I understand the difficulty behind the believe all women by I, like you, am going to tend to be on their side. Therefore, one is enough. Yeah, and I agree with you. The issue is we have no way of verifying in a high-stakes situation whether or not something like this is true. We don't have any, like, we have Anita Hill's testimony and story. I think it holds a lot of water, but I think we need something more directly damning to be able to stop someone who is highly entrenched in the political parties from becoming president. Now, for example, if we had Joe Biden on video molesting a child, and that could certainly stop Joe Biden from becoming president. However, it's another thing to be like a story happened 30 years ago and we don't have any proof of it. And like, I also believe women. I don't think there's a good solution for this type of problem. And if I also believe women, I also don't fucking want Donald Trump to get a second term in office. Are you kidding me? If I go by that same standard, yeah, it's also awful that there's 27 rape allegations against Donald Trump. So like, yeah, there's no good solution. So I guess I'm going to go with the person who has better policies and will help more people. Because even if they're a rapist, I guess they're going to help more people, and we're going to get one of them in office, whether or not I like them. And that's true. And like IPA, I think you're a principled third party voter. Okay. And you know what? That's okay. I think I think that's okay. Rape allegations are like trading cards for Republicans. True. Molestation doesn't require them to be naked. Absolutely, it does not. So again, if you have video of Joe Biden molesting a child, please send it to the FBI. Please. I don't want child molesters wandering the streets. Okay, guys? I don't want that. I'm not for that. So if you have evidence of this, Cult Man, please present it to the FBI. There are channels that you can do this in, and it would be immensely beneficial to society, and you would literally... Cult Man. If you believe that Joe Biden is a child molester, then you have a duty, since you're the one who knows where the evidence is, to submit it to the FBI. That's my point. I do not know if this evidence is true. You're the one who saw it. You need to take responsibility for it, and submit it to the FBI if it is actually child molestation. Yes. My goodness. I am so heated tonight. Gosh. I just want a nice chill... I just want a nice chill political stream, guys. Why do I have to be so angry all the time? It's probably because I had therapy today. I'm a little emotionally raw. Let's see. Already covered these things. Oh, yeah. Just one last thing here. Lucid Gamer, thank you so much for the tier 1 subscription. I don't know that I deserve that after the clusterfuck that's been this stream so far, but I really appreciate it. Outwardly, I'm like this. Inwardly, I'm like this. Puppies are great. I should show a picture of my puppy on stream. But first, Pennsylvania. I misspelled it, but I don't care. Lieutenant Governor. Okay, guys. This guy looks like a cartoon character. And I love him so much. So show chat pets on stream? Maybe I will. Maybe I will. But first I need to show you this monster of a man. Look at this guy. And his, like, smoking hot wife? Like, this guy looks like he's probably, like, a really great doorman at a club somewhere. But also, like, he's the kind of doorman who's, like, super chill and you just kind of want to hang out with him at the door all night. You know? Let's see if we can find a better picture of him. There's, like, a really extra picture of him and his wife. Here we go. Look at this. I love this. This is great. Look at these two. Absolutely wholesome. I love them both so much. I would die for either of them. He's the perfect henchman in an action movie. They just live in their lives. Exactly. They're just living their lives. Also, he would make a great Andre the Giant, like, stunt double or, like, a stand-in. I'm all about this. I'm all about this. Is there a picture, though, that, like, really showcases his height? Because he's absolutely a towering individual. Now he's sitting there. He's just in the background. I love him. I love him so much. It's too small. Maybe if I just type in tall. There we go. Look at this absolutely amazing power couple. I'm here for everything that is going on in this picture. I've literally never heard a leftist idea that wasn't moronic even at face value. Well, my dude, welcome to market socialism. We're all about non-moronic ideas. I wish you all a good night and good dreams. Sorry life isn't great for everyone. It ain't for me, and a lot of people have killed themselves because they feel less and less accepted. It gets bad enough. I hope I don't either. My dude, Cult Man, I hope you come back, okay? You know, I'm sure we don't agree on everything, but I'm also sure we don't disagree on everything either. And whatever happens, I want to fight for your right to get good mental health care, and I want to fight for your right to get good health care, and live a better, gooder life. You know? So, take care, comrade. Pretty sure he could crush your skull with his pinky? Probably. Always inquisitive, comrade. Always inquisitive. Alright. Looks like a friendly giant to me. Absolutely. I don't think he'd try and crush your skull. Why do people rely on government for healthcare? Just make all the drugs legal, use the internet to figure out what treatment you need, not rocket science. Well, actually, it's fairly complicated science. This is why people study for like 10 years to be doctors. And also, like, like a lot of people don't have the time to like figure out the science of what drugs they need to take because they need to work like jobs and things. Oh gosh. Y'all slay me, okay? Y'all slay me.